Hello everyone, my name is Aisha. Well, that's my slave name. My artist name is Raw CL. It brings us all prosperity and abundance, especially to my 144. My 144.
144,000 divided by 8 billion is 0.0018%.
So I just kind of had a couple of thoughts about like the dating market right now. If you're unfortunate enough to be
single at this time,
single within like a dating range at like the year 2024, like the 2020s, it's just I feel like it's almost like a Captain Obvious thing to be saying that like it's completely degraded. I think the way most people behave, men and women alike, they're essentially kind of almost like daring people to like tolerate them,
like you.
daring them, they're like daring you to like them, and they're daring you to tolerate them. Like it's actually more of like an ego game where they're like, I could be a total piece of shit and they're still gonna want to fuck. Yeah, I have ultimate power. That's what this has all been reduced to. It's like the farthest thing from their mind they pretend is to actually have a loving connection and to actually have feelings for someone. It's very common to be saying that catching feelings is like a bad thing. When in reality, the reality is like without love, we don't live life of substance or meaning or value whatsoever.
I think, we're one of the people to usher in an awakening for empaths, conscious empaths, to start to pour into themselves as opposed to everybody else. But at the same time, again, this is like an attack on like the heart chakra, and this is how you're going to get anywhere in life or get to grow at all spiritually. Know your purpose in life. Be one of those lucky people who get to live out their purpose in life and truly live free. Love is like the glue that like brings it all together. We want to help continue to awaken the empathic, compassionate individuals on this planet, and there's not as many in the planet as there are.
But actually, what I feel too, like on this whole discussion, that's actually something to be mindful of.
Because I want us to stay away from like men and women. Because like that, no.
I want to talk more in general.
Yeah, it's traits.
But one thing I do want to talk on that though, when you're just talking about like loving yourself, I think I have a criticism. My criticism about that is that I think people tend to use that to fuel like their really vapid self-aggrandizing lives in which they're really just trying to flex on people that they can't even stand, and that they're actually deeply unhappy and miserable people because they've pushed
so much money. Like you're going broke trying to look rich.
I think the people who are people pleasing, who do come from like a trauma background and they were scapegoated and they're deeply sensitive and they're very soft individuals, those people, they need to be taught self-love. Because they were made to feel like they were nothing their entire lives. And they actually believe in it for the entirety. Other people overcompensate. They feel the deep chasm of emptiness and worthlessness inside of themselves, and then they build it up with false bluster and bravado, and then they think they're strong when they put other people down. That's like more of the narcissist archetype. Those people don't need, they hear self-love and then they think it applies to them, and then they take it to their sick conclusion. People who are actually like on the other side of that, the more like, selfless individuals, the people who are kind of abused and made to feel like they're not worth like very much, like they're not worth their own skin even. Those broken sad people, the scapegoats, all those really tortured young like broken kids out there that grew into adults, they need to be taught self-love. To them, that is like a radical idea.
Like I'm telling you, like I have true compassion for all of these scenarios, and we all make mistakes, but I feel that critical eye though when I find all other podcasters and YouTubers discuss this, where it's like, you're allowing this treatment, it's your fault.
But to a degree, it's correct, because we are reinforcing this low tier dating behavior. Men and women, but we're letting them get away with it because when we tell ourselves that this is normal. I think y'all need to start bullshitting yourselves and actually like be authentic and brave enough to be loving to someone when they're still alive, not when you're seeing them in the coffin, which is like a really sick thing. That's actually true.
Of suicided friends.
Literally too late for you to ever tell them how you really felt and how much they actually meant to you. And then you don't even realize it almost sometimes until they're gone. It's like you thought you loved them when they were alive, and you realize when they're gone forever, the love hits a whole deeper level that you will never be able to express to them again. So I just think it's bullshit that we pretend in this stupid ass game, ain't nobody fooling nobody. If we matter, if you matter, if you enjoyed something, you need to be all over it. You need to be talking about it. You need to be letting that person know all the time. I mean, of course, respect their boundaries. Don't overwhelm. Don't try to, smother with it. But you cannot go wrong letting someone know how much they mean to you.
Exactly.
And it's not corny. People need to actually become very emotional. Okay, so I'm not talking about, from my perspective, obviously I'm a woman, so it may look like I'm singling out men in particular, but in reality I'm not. I think both sexes are guilty of this type of insincere behavior, or like very self-defeating power grabs that are corrosive to the connection. I think people are they're not being intelligent about this at all. I think people are not realizing how finite life is, and then they're really so afraid of any kind of loss because they don't have any real character. This is some David Goggins shit, honestly. When they're so coddled, they don't even realize how easy their lives are. They have zero character when they hit even a little bit of resistance. So even just being in love and having feelings is deeply existentially terrifying. But that's what I'm saying. They're so fucking afraid. They think that even just falling in love with someone, which is actually just a beautiful experience. Let's be honest, it's actually a beautiful experience. It's one of the best things you could ever experience in the world. I've had even very emotionally repressed guys tell me that very thing. Being in love is the best. Yeah, of course, but you're Mr. Non-committal. Okay, I get it. And we could be together for years and years and years, but I'm not anything to you. Okay, I mean, but that's honestly like it's crap. The reality is we all know how beautiful that thing, beautiful of an experience it actually is. But the reality is that people are so coddled. They're so terrified of actually facing something of true loss, of something that could truly be of a risk to them emotionally, that they build such a defense that they cheat out their entire lives. They cheat themselves of any kind of authentic real life. They're behind the wall. This is some Pink Floyd shit. You're behind the wall. The worms are eating your brain. You actually don't actually have a real life anymore. You're fucking screwed. Because you were too convinced about being powerful and having the upper hand and thinking that you don't need any of that shit, when in reality you're the sad clown crying into your beer by yourself. So I'm just saying, you guys both, men and women, need to wake the fuck up about this. Men need to be better, women need to do better too.
And now we will be showing missives of different social interactions I've had. This is going to be between men and women, because we happen to be straight, but it's going to show just the way a lot of these interactions go.
It's not that they're threatened, it's that biology works differently than what our social programming has taught us, especially women. It taught women to be successful, you don't need a man. Your career comes first, they'll be there after the career, and I think that is bullshit because what we are seeing now. CNN did a report the other day saying that 60% of women between the ages of 35 and 18 are going to be single for the rest of their life. Yeah, the rest of their life. Feminism lied to 98% of women nowadays. That's why you're seeing this crazy clown world we live in, 98 genders. They, them, single mother household, massive incarceration rates, and now the rise of mass shooters. Men are threatened. They're fed up. And he completely misses the irony that these mass murders are a male dominated phenomenon because men are they don't have good role models because men aren't stepping up to actually be men because they're not capable, they're not interested in being fathers and actually becoming responsible human adults. And then women get blamed for that because they're internalized misogyny and inner inadequacies, honestly. Rise of mass shooters, these men are narcissists. The mass shooters, they're complete entitled jerk-offs. That they can't even handle a little bit of rejection and take some accountability for their faults or how boring they are or how weak they are and try to improve themselves. They make it the woman's fault because the woman has to suck their dick. No, we actually don't. We don't have to do anything to you, actually.
No.
And if you need to actually be a real man and actually be strong and compete, okay? And that means thinking that you're a simp, that you actually treat a woman well, and that makes you a weak man. No, that actually makes you a strong man because you're not stupid enough to fall into bullshit and keep peppering her with abuse and demeaning her self-esteem. That actually doesn't make you a real man. That's gonna make you, not chosen, by the way. It's just not. She's not gonna choose you, man. She's not gonna choose you because half of the time you're treating her like shit. She's not gonna choose you. That's stuff was saying. I do agree with you, actually. Like I said earlier, it hurt women as well. Feminine is actually really subversive, pretends to empower girls, but in reality makes them abandon their true power or makes them more vulnerable. There's a lot of what I've realized trying to conform to those values, and it honestly felt insincere the whole time. In some ways, I do feel like there's maybe a loss, but I'm aware of how hard it can be to raise a family. If it doesn't happen, I'm okay with that as well. But yeah, the family unit's being destroyed. I don't have much hope for future generations at all.
The fucker doesn't even know I fucked around with broke dudes for years. What's the minimum salary a man has to make for you to take him seriously in a relationship? I don't care about any of that. I make my own money. I seriously make my own money. I just want you to be a strong, hardworking man who treats me well. That is actually not a demanding thing. It's not a minimum salary. It's not about 100K. I don't care about that. You should make your own money though. That's important to me. Go and be honest. It's less about a minimum salary and more about a guy needing initiative and ambition and enough intelligence to succeed. If I don't see those qualities, I'm not interested in that way. Give me a number, 50, 100, million a year. Like I said, it's not about a number. I could give a guy a chance if it's not much, just as long as he's driven. I guess very broke would be tough because it's so limiting. But still, it's not about a salary for me. You gotta act all fucking surprised.
Now you gotta find the money shot.
I did though, we went over that earlier. Yeah, I think this is it though. He'd have to want to work towards a better life is what I'm saying. So you would date a bum, but just as long as he hopes as being a rock star, you would take him seriously. Like I am. You know, it's something to have in common too. You know, hoping is easy. Working towards it in a real way is not.
Yeah.
If I see good constructive action and enough chemistry, I see where it goes. So you would take care of them if he doesn't work. I did not say that, asshole.
Yeah.
I did not say that at all.
Yeah.
Just as long as you're trying to become a rock star. Okay. Question 2. Would you delete your Instagram and find the guy in your dreams? No. No, I wouldn't. No. For real. You seem pretty base. That's a hard thing to find in a lady, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
I think postmodern identity politics has done more to feminize men more than anything. It's hurt everyone, lol, girls included. God damn, you spittin'. I agree. Family life can bring a lot of meaning and purpose. Love too, of course. But being alone isn't the worst option. I choose healthy companionship overall, but being alone is way better than being in an abusive relationship. Kids are adorable, but it's never-ending work. I know very well what it requires now. Abusive relationship, that word gets thrown around quite a lot nowadays. Can you describe an abusive relationship? Controversial opinion. Are you ready? Girls want that. This dude had no idea. He was talking past me almost the entire time, and I was actually taking him seriously and like giving him a respectful, compassionate, empathic listening ear. And I was engaging with him quite seriously, respectfully, with every single one of his ideas. And it just flew right over his stupid head because of the brainwash he's consuming himself. And yet, for a reason, for some points, it did seem like there was some lucidity there. You know, which is bizarre.
Yeah.
Which is really weird. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's really disappointing because I actually do think there was a friendship there at certain points.
That's his journey.